funny how now all of a sudden NASA is trying to cover their ass with this fake ass space station up there. Because I've raised this claim, and so have many others whom, I don't know if many others, there's a few others I've heard say the same thing, that how in the hell is that space station up there so long and not get hit with any debris? You know, do we have a scientifical model of how does a contained cylinder with air dense or less dense than the vacuum around it would act if it got a pinhole in it? You know, popular thought was that said vessel would be crushed by the immense vacuum that surrounds it, because the air would rush in and out so rapidly that if you get just one pinhole in something like the ISS or a capsule of the ISS, it would just either explode and suck everybody out, or just crush down into like it was put into a car crusher or something. So, NASA says it has a million satellites up there. They consider a satellite anything man-made that's orbiting the planet. But now I see them recategorizing it. Now they're calling it space debris. That's anything that's non-usable man-made but floating around the planet. They're calling it orbital debris. So this whole video right here is a rebuttal, basically, why they did this shit, because they had no other reason to do it. Is a rebuttal to all of us out here calling them out for their bullshit. And they got these two so-called scientists, right, to get up here and to tell us and to show us some old images that, see, it does happen, and we got steps to alleviate the problem. Just watch this fucking video.
Hi, I am Dr. J.C. Liu, the NASA Chief Scientist for Orbital Debris at the Johnson Space Center.
And hi, I'm Brian Corley, the lead of the ISS Trajectory Operations and Planning Group at the Johnson Space Center.
Welcome to Mission Imagination. How did you get into this line of work?
Yeah, it is Mission Imagination. You got that absolutely correct. We're moving on.
I came to Johnson Space Center as a postdoc research fellow.
Probably after he accelerated to the 32nd degree. Because they're all Masons. And that's it. See that guy in the suit with that cheesy ass smile? That's exactly what a Mason looks like, if you didn't know.
20 years ago.
From a very young age, I used to love math and science. I also enjoyed building things and, more importantly, taking them apart to understand how they work.
My initial research focused on the dynamics of asteroids, comets, and meteoroids in the solar system.
Ultimately, I achieved an aerospace engineering degree and figured what better place to put that into practice than here at Johnson Space Center, where you send people into outer space.
What is orbital debris?
That guy can't contain his excitement. What is orbital debris?
The term orbital debris is used to describe any human-made object in Earth orbit that does not serve any useful purpose.
Wow, man.
Typical example of orbital debris include spent rocket bodies, retired spacecraft, and breakup fragments generated from explosions or collisions of rocket bodies.
So what's he pointing out? Some orbital debris? There's supposed to be some orbital debris heading his way. That's what he's pointing out into the window there. Spent rocket bodies, refired spacecrafts, breakup fragments. Already. Isn't that going 1,700 miles per hour? You could just point that shit out. Is that what's... whatever.
Spacecraft. Why do we care about orbital debris? There are two reasons. First, the increasing number of orbital debris in the near-Earth space environment. And second, the high impact speed in space. This aluminum block is about half an inch thick, and this penetration damage was caused by this tiny object here. Its diameter is...
You see that, right? You see that big-ass hole in that inch-and-a-half piece of aluminum, that little bitty pebble put into that bitch going 1,700 in their so-called cylinder test that he's fixing to show you? You see how little that shit is? You're telling me, hold on now. You got shit up there floating around all over the place, known as orbital debris, that size, some of it even smaller than that. You see the kind of hole that can leave into the hull of that damn ISS? And you're telling me that ISS never been hit by none of this shit? Look at that. Look at the size of that damn hole that it leaves. That's 17,000 miles per hour for you. And that's how fast everything is damn moving up there, right? Oh, this shit gets better. Like I said, you get a pinhole in something like that. That's not a pinhole. Man, that's damn about the size of a damn... That little pebble, if you had that cylinder perfectly round, let's see, that hole be about the size of a damn ping pong ball. So, okay, you're telling me, let's say that little pebble hits the ISS, leaves the damn hole the size of a damn ping pong ball, exposing them into the fucking space. I guess, Scott Kelly's eating all the damn rations and getting fatter, pissing everybody else off. And Chris Hadfield's playing his guitar up in the cupola with the bare naked ladies on CBC. And then all of a sudden you get a pow. You hear a damn pop, and then this ping pong ball size hole enters in one of your capsules, which exposes you to space. You're telling me you're just going to sit down and figure out how to plug the hole and everything's going to be fine? Shut the fuck up. Absolutely shut up. That is fucking unbelievable, alright? This whole facade that you're putting on is unbelievable. That's why you gotta make this damn video to rebuttal us people calling you out on your fucking bullshit. This is complete bullshit.
Only 1/8 of an inch. The impact speed that caused this damage was 7 kilometers per second, which is actually lower than the average orbital debris.
Hold on. I gave him too much credit. That impact you're seeing is actually lower than what shit is moving up there. So it'd be going even faster. So let's say the size of the ping pong ball turns into the size of a fucking basketball. Come on, man.
Impact speed at the International Space Station altitude.
How is the crew protected?
And not only that, that's a piece of metal, correct? That's just a little tiny little 1/8 inch of a ball of metal. That was all it was. And it hit that aluminum block going half the speed of what it would be up there in orbit if those two bodies collided, correct? Did you see the damn explosion that took place? Fire just come out of no fucking where? All that transfer of mass from one body to the next? And you're telling me that space station can go up there and absorb some hits like that and still be just chilling? You're fucking out of your mind.
From orbital debris. The space station has shielding to protect it from small...
The space station has shielding to protect it from orbital debris. You're going to show me that one little dark spot on your shielding, and that's going to protect you? Get the fuck out, dude. Do not even sell me. Do not even try. Okay, look at that shit. You saw that little experiment they had with half the speed of the orbital speeds of which collisions would collide and take place? You saw the damn violent collision and explosion that happened there? You're telling me an object has hit the ISS, and this is all it did. No explosions, no holes, no nothing. You're full of shit. What kind of shielding do you have that's going to stop a damn bullet? Which basically, a bolt, that little tiny ball, it turns into a damn bullet that's going 1,700 miles per hour. You're telling me the ISS made of Kevlar? That wouldn't even stop it. You guys are full of shit. This is absolutely garbage. This whole excuse falls flat. Don't nobody believe this.
Small particles about the size of the end of your fingertip, or 1 centimeter. For larger particles about the size of your fist, 10 centimeters, we can track those from the ground if they pose a risk to the...
He says we can't track anything that's bigger than your fingertip. That's smaller than your fingertip. You saw that little bitty little ball that did all that damage to that 1 inch block. And that was only half speed. So twice the speed would be the size of either a softball, or maybe even a basketball. And you're telling me that has hit the station because you can't track it. Okay, your excuse fails and your answer fails, and you are totally full of shit. Absolutely, totally full of fucking shit.
Space station, we actually move it out of the way. If the space station were to be penetrated by orbital debris, the crew is...
Look at that. Look at that. What leaves a hole like that? I mean... What kind of orbital debris you got that's going to leave a hole like that? Look at that perfectly round circle around some indented, creviced, little cracked metal. I mean, come on, bitch. And look at that one below the play button. Come on, man. I mean, fucking get real.
The leak and patch it to save the...
Oh, hold on. It says MPLM FM2 machine MECHPI62. You're telling me that you patched that. How the fuck did you patch that? And when did you have time to patch that? And how do you even start to patch that when you're dealing with exposed space? And how's that little bitty hole right there in your eyes is not ripping that fucking thing out to shreds? And that little bitty hole's not sucking every astronaut in there out and through that hole into space.
ISS. How do avoidance maneuvers work on the International Space Station?
That's the first time you people are hearing about this, right? It's the first time I ever heard about it, and I've been monitoring this shit for a long time. I mean a long time.
The first step in protection is tracking the debris. The Air Force uses radars to track the 23,000 objects in space that are larger than your fist, and they notify us if something...
You see how excited this guy is? Because he knows he's lying straight to his fucking teeth. You see all that crap that's flying all over the place? You're telling me NASA put that much fucking debris up in there? What a load of shit. For one thing. And how can you track all that? You're telling, even if it is bigger than the size of my fist, all right? Let's say it is, let's say it's a soccer ball size, something. That some kind of part that come off some old rocket from the fake Apollo missions is flying up there, right? Right? You can track that. You know where that fucking thing's at. Oh, let's go to debris number 50,742. Yeah, it's currently over the Indonesian islands. Really? Seriously, go fuck off.
Comes within a certain volume of the ISS. This is a highly choreographed process which involves mission control in both Houston and Moscow, since the engines...
Wait a minute. In Russia and America, enemies, aren't they enemies? Don't they hate each other? Makes you wonder. It seriously makes you wonder.
To perform the maneuver are Russian controlled. Under typical circumstances, we have a couple days to evaluate the risk and plan the maneuver, but it can be performed in as little as 3 hours.
They got a couple of days to assess the risk, or if need be, they can move the space station in 3 hours. I don't think you would have 5 fucking seconds to understand that, hey, oh shit. Bolt number 48,742 is about to hit this. Oh shit! Because it's moving at 17,000 fucking miles per hour. And by the way, you got all this shit up there. And I watched all this flight of this ISS. Ain't seen not one fucking piece of debris. Not even one fucking satellite. And where's your fucking shielding at, by the way? That's protecting your station. Absolutely go fuck off.
If the risk is higher than 1 in 10,000 and the maneuver cannot be performed, the crew will enter their respective return vehicles ready to perform an emergency.
Yeah. Because they've had to do that in the past, right? Not. Nope, they haven't. They sure haven't. Nice CGI photo work there, by the way. Because they haven't had to do that. Because I guess y'all are so good at spotting all this million. Officially it's 1 million. So I guess it'd be over 1 million satellites. They're just flying all over the place uncontrollably.
Undock should a collision occur.
How do we manage the orbital debris problem to better protect future space missions? The most important step.
Easy, because there are no space missions. So the question is, how do we lie better in the future? Okay. You know, I got it, man. Just call Pixar and just make a whole batch of Wall-E's. You know, Wall-E, that little robot that collect the trash, and shoot them up off into orbit. And let them just collect all the space debris.
To manage the orbital debris problem is to limit the generation of new debris in the future. There are...
Look at that shit. Oh, man. Is that Antarctica? What? Are they trying to show us Antarctica? Anyway, look at all that damn debris.